All right, so today, let's talk about open houses, okay? There's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. And I want to talk to you about the best ways to do it, not only as realtors, but as a client. Your realtor should know how to do this for you in your service as best as possible. And if you feel like they're not doing this, then the reality is you've got a bad realtor. If you're not connected with them, you are in a very bad position and it's time to make a change. It's that simple. So let's go over open houses real quick. What is the number one reason we hold an open house? Take your time. Now, other realtors or more experienced realtors are going to say, well, because honestly, it helps us generate leads with buyers, potential buyers coming in that aren't represented. Yeah, that's true. The other reason that a lot of people are coming off of is because they think that that's what's going to sell the house. Statistically speaking, that's not true. They don't. How you leverage the open house is the reason you have an open house, okay? One of the things that I like to do is, especially in the market, the right market, is I will intentionally list the house active and live in the middle of the week, either a Wednesday or a Thursday, right? With an open house either that Saturday or Sunday. The reason I do that is because I want to drum up business and I don't want people thinking that they can wait on making an offer, right? So it's more like a FOMO kind of thing. If somebody sees that there's an open house, especially if it's a house they're really interested in, they may be prompted to make an offer even sooner. Now, for me personally, that's why I do the open houses. That being said, there's a right way to do an open house and a wrong way to do the open house. I just came from one and I can honestly say that the open house itself was fine. It was perfect. It was good to go. The preparations for the open house is what failed. So that's what I want to cover with you guys, right? Is when you are putting your information out there, whether it's MLS or any other feeds, you want to make sure that you are enticing people to go to it. And as clients, you want to make sure that your realtor is enticing you and all of your friends to come see your house, right? If you don't want to live in your own house, they're not doing their job right. If, for instance, you have a HOA fee, and whether it's relatively high or relatively low, regardless, let's talk about what the HOA fee does. A lot of people don't like HOAs for good reasons. However, if you have an HOA that says, you know, we're going to charge you 150 bucks a month for this. Well, what am I getting for 150 bucks a month? Okay, let's talk about maintenance. What kind of maintenance? If you're a single family house versus a townhouse, you're not getting as much for a single family as you will the townhouse. Now, what if the community that you're in for the HOA has a pool, has a skating park, anything like that? Maybe that's something that people who want to buy your house are really interested in. So you need to double down on that. You need to talk about the HOA. It's not going to go away. You don't want to hide it, but at least make it worth it for somebody to actually go in and want to purchase this place. Because say, for instance, you have a pool pass and it's upkeep. If I'm a big swimmer, that's going to be huge to me because chances are I go to a gym and I have to pay for this. Why don't I just pay for it like I would at my own home? That's a big win. If you have kids that are skating parks, or maybe even, you know, your clients or other adults, they want to do that kind of stuff and it's something that is included in their HOA, then it makes sense. Now, if you're charging an HOA and you have somebody who says, I don't want to play with water at all, I don't want to do a skate park at all, does that HOA make sense for them? That might not be a selling feature for it. Either way, you still need to talk about it because they want to know what they're paying for, right? That's a big one. Make sure your house is prepped and good to go for an open house. And what I mean by that is you can have a vacant house, which is easy enough, you know, or a lived-in house. The thing on either of them is it needs to be clean, especially if you're getting to higher price points, okay? You can't be expecting a $750,000 house to sell when the paint is jacked up everywhere. It's not even finished, right? That's not going to work. Even if the market is saying that it's valued at $750 in general, that may be true. But if your house isn't up to par, at least visually, it's not going to be true. Because what happens psychologically with people is they go into a house and they say, oh, hey, the paint is kind of messed up. This doesn't look right. What else is wrong with the house? It creates a negative vibe. We don't want that. We want everything to be positive. We want everything to be clean. We want it to be as open and as bright as possible. That's what we're going for here, right? So if your house isn't that way, get it that way. Get it that way before you even get pictures done, okay? Your pictures, by the way, they have to be of high quality. If you're running around with a cell phone, no matter how gifted you are on a cell phone, chances are you don't know how to properly photo a house. There's reasons why we pay people the way we do, because they can make the house look great. Now, this isn't false advertising, but it's just something as simple as having a clear photo. If your photo isn't clear, we don't want flyers for it, because what that shows is that we don't care enough for our client. And that's not the case at all. Make sure your photos are as clear, crystal clear as possible. Make sure they show all the best elements, because that's what you're selling, right? And people are only gonna see the pictures until they decide to actually show up. Get videos done if the price point goes for it, right? Get drone videos done. You have to know what the value is of the house and how to present it properly. Otherwise, it's gonna be a flop. Nobody's gonna show, right? One of the big things that I always recommend people do is a 3D walkthrough as well, because they can do a virtual walkthrough without going to the house. Now, again, you still want the open house to be as clean and pretty as it can possibly be. Now, what a lot of people think too is like, oh, I'm gonna do an open house as realtors, and I'm gonna bring, some water, I'm gonna bring some chips, I'm gonna bring, a little bit of stuff, right? And that's fine, that's fine. But the reality is that you wanna make it an event, something that, is really interesting for the people coming through, because they wanna be able to see what life could be like outside of what they're seeing there. For instance, if the house is very sports versed, right? Maybe there's a whole bunch of NFL stuff going on, basketball, baseball, this kind of stuff, right? And yet these people that are coming in are a little bit more quiet, or maybe they don't like sports at all in general. It's gonna be very hard for them to see something other than what is currently being decorated there, right? So if you can actually take them while they're there, create an event of it, they can see something completely different. It might actually help them envision living there, i.e. selling the property. Now, another big thing with open houses that people seem to fail to do is, you have nosy neighbors. You're always gonna have nosy neighbors, right? Use them as a resource, get them involved. I always recommend, before you do an open house, you walk the neighborhood. Nobody likes door knocking. Honestly, a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people don't like it when you knock on their doors. But here's the thing, is you don't door knock for no reason. You give them a reason. You say, hey, look, I'm knocking on your door. We're having an open house on Saturday. Whether or not you know of anybody who wants to come here, if you have family, you have friends, just let them know we're here. If you guys want to come down, we're going to have some free treats, coffee, whatever it is, right? Go ahead and work that neighborhood for two reasons. One, because again, if they have friends or family that want to be in the neighborhood, that's an easy one. They tell their friends, they tell their family, they come out, and you know what? You have a potential buyer. If they don't have anybody, they know, at least for them, they're not a nosy neighbor, and they won't come in unless they really want to. And if they really want to, either way, that person now became a lead generation for you, right? Maybe they tell somebody, but there's also the thing that maybe one of the neighbors down the road are thinking about selling their house. That's a win-win. They now have talked to somebody who's actually talking to them and approachable. There's an instant connection right there, right? But at least you have a reason to door knock. You don't just door knock and say, hey, look, I'm here, I'm a realtor. I'd love to help you sell your house. How can we make this work? Chances are that person's already annoyed because they came to the door to knock, right? Because the whole reason in their mind is that you are trying to get business. That's it. And granted, yes, we want business, but we want to help. We want to make it meaningful for people. Let's focus on the relationships, not the business, because the fact is that money will come when the relationships are developed. Let's get that straight first, okay? So if you can get all of the pre-mentioned things done, want a clean house, we want to make it an event, we want to actually work the neighborhood, we want to do all these things, you will have a successful open house. And most importantly, when you're at the open house, is talk to the people, because they will give you feedback that you've never had before. And for your sellers, you want to provide that feedback, and it's got to be honest. It may hurt their feelings. You can do it in a way that doesn't hurt their feelings, but you really need to talk to them. For instance, if the house, again, let's use a thing of not painted right. Hey, look, we need to get this painted, because it may cost a little bit of money, sure, but if without this, it may not even sell. So do you want to pay another month of mortgage, insurance, and taxes and all that good jazz? Or do you want to go ahead and get this thing sold by biting the bullet a little bit? Plus, we also know that you're already in equity. You can pay this back as soon as it's done. So maybe take a hit for a minute and let's get this done. And that conversation can be hard for a lot of people, but trust me, as somebody who wants to sell the house, as long as they trust you as their realtor, they're going to listen. And if they don't listen, and you keep trying and trying and trying, You come up with all the different ways, maybe it's time to bring in somebody else that can help them. And if you need to lean on another person, especially if you're brand new to real estate, hit up your mentor, hit up your sponsor, reach out to me. I'm perfectly happy to talk to anybody about this kind of stuff, right? You want to get the home sold, you want to service them the best you can, and sometimes you do have to tell them, this isn't working the way you want it to work. This is how we need to do it. You need to get them receptive, all right? So, with all that said, I hope this helps. Open houses can be huge. Let's do them correctly. If you have any questions, hit me up, 443-763-1351, my direct number. My email, kevin.meckling@exprealty.com. My website, kevinmeckling.exprealty.com. There's so many ways to reach out to me. Let's do it. Let's get it done. All right, guys, take care.